You can find this program on YouTube. Do hit subscribe if you haven't yet. I would appreciate it. If you approve of the content afterwards, go back, give the video a thumbs up. Helps in the search algorithm. I appreciate that as well. Twitter, search bar, always Irish, or at JKZND4. Emails, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want me. You can get me. Merchandise link below in the description. Seems like these Freeman Factor shirts might be coming back in style, huh? Everybody wanted me to get a divorce and burn them. But here we are. Things are looking up on the defensive side of the ball. So, let's get into this. There's a lot of ground to cover. There is a lot of ground to cover, and we're going to do just that. Here's the first thing. Absolutely great team victory. No other way to look at it. Great, terrific program team win. Fantastic. Was it perfect? No. Are there still ongoing issues that I'm very concerned about? Yes. But 41-13 with a ton of huge plays and a kick return touchdown to turn the momentum of the whole game is fantastic. And we should all be happy. I mean, usually, listen, I get it. I'm a smart enough guy. I know my role within the Notre Dame media fandom well. I know my niche, okay? At the same time, how could you be a Notre Dame fan and not be happy with 41-13 over a Wisconsin program that's held its own in the Big Ten recently and on the big stage marquee top TV rated game last weekend? Not bad for an irrelevant team to have the highest TV rating of any game over the weekend. Not bad for an irrelevant team to pull that rating. But what I'm saying is, yes, there are issues, ongoing issues. But this was a great win. Here's what I don't understand. Why can't both be true? Why do people feel like they got to force you or me into one lane or the other? What is wrong with, I'm totally ecstatic and love 41-13 and a lot of what happened in it. And I have ongoing concerns that we're still going to talk about that are a problem that are unacceptable we have to talk about. Both can be true at the same time. I'm absolutely thrilled with 41-13. And there are also a lot of things that have to still get better that I don't understand how they're that bad. Both are true and fair, and that's where I'm operating right now. But if you asked any Notre Dame fan, even the most glass half full, sunshine and rainbows Notre Dame fan, if you asked them what the high-end good score would be, nobody on earth had Notre Dame 41-13 over Wisconsin. Not even the most glass full, open your sock drawer and leprechauns and shamrocks fall out. Nobody had 41-13. So I'm absolutely ecstatic about that. And the way we did it, I'm happy about. Big special teams play, causing havoc on defense. Love it. Absolutely love it. But there are things that have to get better. So, geez, for one weekend, just enjoy 41-13 over a big name program on the big stage. Even I'm able to enjoy it a little bit, okay? I still have my concerns. But my God, if you can't enjoy 41-13, what can you enjoy? Seriously. 6 ranked teams lost over the weekend, including Clemson again. Clemson again. There are only 26 unbeaten teams remaining. Here is something else I loved about this win, and it makes me happy to see. The team played jump around in the locker room and had fun with it. Love it. Epic troll job. Epic troll job. It's warranted. It's earned. It's justified. This is 2 weeks in a row. Notre Dame's kind of troll clown their opponent. Last week with the drum, this week with jump around. And listen, I don't care what anybody says. It is not a neutral game when you're playing Wisconsin's big pump-up thing at the end of the third quarter. It's no longer neutral to me. When you're doing what you can in the stadium to pump up their fan base, that's no longer neutral to me. If you're not at home, you shouldn't get your home pump up. So I didn't love that they did that, but I like what happened after it. I liked what happened after it. You could go ahead and jump around all you want. Once the fourth quarter started, Notre Dame scored 31 damn points. So I love to see us celebrating to that song in the locker room. Warms my little heart in a troll type way. And I love the way that feels. Okay. So credit to everybody who did everybody who did their job and participated in the winning effort of this game deserves credit. And to those around it in the program who can't do their jobs and are hurting the team, no credit. Sorry, you don't get credit if you were not doing your job. So, great win. Everybody celebrate. Yeah, those who did their job celebrate more than the ones who didn't, who are holding the team down. And we'll get to it. But credit to everybody who actually did their job that added to what it takes to win this ball game. Okay? Credit to Brian Kelly, win 106. Here's the deal. I know how polarizing this is and everything with Kelly is in this program. Here's the deal. Brian Kelly's going to get a statue at Notre Dame for being the most winning the most games. He's going to get a statue. But it's not a national title statue. And everybody around the program knows the difference. And most importantly, Brian Kelly knows it too. You can tell it's uncomfortable for Kelly when this gets brought up. And the first thing Brian Kelly says when anybody asks about this record is, yeah, but I don't have a championship. As long as we all know that 105, 106 wins, Kelly and Rockne are different, fine. But here's the thing. If Brian Kelly was at 98% of other major college football programs in America, he would be their lifelong hero forever for having the most wins. Notre Dame is one of probably 2 or 3 or 4 programs where that just isn't enough for some people to celebrate you without a national title. Not only a national title, but any major bowl game. The Camping World Bowl doesn't count. So I'm fine with him getting recognized as long as we all agree that it's in a certain context. It's hard to stay at Notre Dame as long as he has. I credit him for that. But his 106 and Rockne's 105 aren't built the same. They're not built the same. You're transcending eras, and that's hard. Notre Dame's all about titles and Heismans. I'm sorry. And you know what, though? Brian Kelly knows that, and Brian Kelly took this job knowing that. So it's not like feel bad for Kelly. He has this record, and it's not being celebrated the same. Brian Kelly knows the deal being the Notre Dame coach. You got to win a championship to go down in true Notre Dame lore. Kelly knows that. So, big accomplishment. I'm happy for him, but at the same time, everybody needs to know it's different. You got to win a title at Notre Dame to really go down in history. That's the way it is. That's the way it should be. Here's what else I'll say about this Kelly record. The players seem to really like and love Brian Kelly, and it shows. And whether you like Brian Kelly or not, it's really important to see how much our players love him. We're happy for him breaking the record, hugging him, all that. I wanted to note that because it's very important to see. You could tell these guys truly love and appreciate Kelly. Good for him. Good for him. And I was happy to see those players celebrate with him and for him. Also, Brian Kelly got a penalty defending the cheap shot on Hamilton. Now, I think on TV we saw that he got a penalty, but they didn't show what happened. Here's what happened. In the pick six we had right before this play, Hamilton ran down the sidelines yelling something at all of the Wisconsin sideline. Then we score. Then this play happens. They didn't like that Hamilton was chirping. They took cheap shots at him, and Kelly jumped in and went out and defended his guy. That's what happened there. Good to see it. Good for Kelly sticking up for his best player on defense. Okay, so back to the game. This was very much a culture win. That makes me happy. We were going into the fourth quarter losing. The offense sucked. Still pretty much sucks. But guys stepped up. The plays we needed to make to win this game with the offense struggling were made. 2 of the 3 phases here stepped up, played big boy winning football, won this game running away. With the offensive struggles we have, guys had to step up, and they did. And they did. Credit to everybody who did that. Kick return for a touchdown, 5 turnovers, multiple pick sixes, couple great receptions for touchdowns. Individual guys stepped up. Tyree, Pine, Hart, Kaiser, White, a bunch of the defensive front guys. Okay? Great job. Hashtag the Freeman factor getting better by the week. You have to love it. 13 points again. You got to love it. The kick return. Seeing Rocket all bandanaed out on that Fox pregame show made me feel like something might be brewing, and it was a sign. Sure enough, number 25 breaks the game open for Notre Dame with a kickoff return for a touchdown. Go figure. Go figure. Love to see it. Individuals and most parts of this team stepped it up, picked up the slack from the offense, and won the game. It's exactly what you ask for. It's exactly what you can only get when you have a good culture. A lot of cultures, they could have folded. We're losing. Things are going bad on offense. Let your guard down. The game gets away from you. You get worn down, lose this ball game. Not what happened. This was very much a culture win, and I'm proud and relieved to see it unfold. To see it unfold. Okay? That being said, couple things have to be stated. Number 1, Wisconsin's not that good at football. Like 41-13, you gotta love it, and I do. One thing I've learned, and everybody learned, Wisconsin's not that good. And number 2, our offense and our offensive line is still a problem, and it's still an issue of concern. As long as we celebrate this win while also understanding these points, we can all move forward in a very productive fashion. Okay? Now, the schedule gets interesting here. We move on from what was the biggest game of the year to another week with, guess what? Your biggest game of the year. Okay? So, welcome to life as a Notre Dame fan. There is no break. There is no rest. You go from the biggest game of the year on a team coming off a bye. Guess what your reward is for winning that game? This week becomes the biggest game of the year going against a good team coming off a break. Now, after Cincinnati, that schedule lightens up a little bit from what we thought it was going to be in the preseason. Okay? Big stumbling block with Cincinnati. You clear that even with our issues. This is going to get really interesting of what's possible and feasible. But as of now, tunnel vision from one game that was the biggest of the year right into this one. Biggest of the year. Gotta have it. Gotta have it. Okay? Now, that being said, let's break down the actual game, shall we? As we begin to explore what happened in this ball game, guess where we're going to start? We are going to start on special teams. I've been begging for it. I've been pleading for it. I've been yelling about it. I've been tweeting about it. I've been doing shows about it. We finally got it right when we needed it with the Rocket in the mix. There he is right behind me. A game-changing, momentum-swinging kick return by number 25 with the game on the line in the fourth quarter. I love it. And listen, it's not like, oh, John, they finally listened to you. You don't have to be old Notre Damus or Nostradamus or whatever to suggest using the third phase of the game to your advantage might be smart. I'm not saying I'm the only guy that's saying that or has been saying that. But my God, it feels good to finally get something I've been begging for on this show for years. Here's the best part. The best part is, yes, a kick return for a touchdown would have made me happy whenever it happened. Could happen in a blowout, and I would have been thrilled. The fact that this happened exactly when we needed it, right after Wisconsin seized momentum, took the lead, all the momentum was in their favor. We needed this return right when we got it, and it changed everything. It shows you exactly what I always talk about, saying that one play helps you change momentum, put points on the board, take pressure off your defense, take pressure off your offense that has no offensive line. You could change a lot with a big kick return. I'm just glad we got one, and I pray to God this wakes everybody up and they start doing this more. Please, please try doing this more. This play changed the entire ball game, and I need more of it. I need more of it. Love to see it. Great job, Tyree. Good job on the blocking. Give him a crease. One step, and he's gone. Love it. Love it. Need more of it. Okay? Now, on to the defense. The Freeman factor lives. And in fact, you can make an argument it's getting stronger each week, at least the last couple weeks. 13 points allowed 2 weeks in a row is winning football. It is winning football. Notre Dame, currently number 2 in the country in takeaways. That's a big deal. 14th in sacks, 19th in pass efficiency D, 25th in third down defense. Okay? It's coming together. I think it took a couple weeks for Freeman to learn his personnel and his adjusted personnel due to the injuries. Took those guys a few weeks to get comfortable. Now they look like they're playing more free, more loose, more comfortable running around and making plays. Limited Purdue and Wisconsin combined to 5 of 30 on third downs. 16.5% conversion rate. That is winning football. I like what I'm seeing from the defense. I like what I'm seeing from Marcus Freeman. 5 takeaways. Big plays up front. Cross, Jason Adamiola, Lacey, Foskey, all in the backfield. Cam Hart, 2 interceptions. Kaiser and Drew White, pick 6s. That is elite defensive winning football. Okay? They had 75 yards rushing, 4 interceptions, a fumble, 1 of 15 on third down, 0 for 1 on fourth down, a sack, 4 tackles for a loss. The defense made the big plays that changed the game. Period. Keep it up. Build off this confidence booster. Here's the deal. Everybody wants a good defense, loves a good defense, talks about having a good defense, whatever. Notre Dame doesn't have an option because of the limitations on offense for us to do anything and keep winning these games. Playing exceptional defensive football is a requirement. It is a requirement because this offense is challenged. So, seeing 2/3 of this team pick up the slack for the third that's struggling and win this game warms my heart. That's how we're going to have to keep winning some of these games because this offense is just going to be a struggle. It is. It's just going to be a struggle. So, to see this Freeman defense come together and to see the confidence growing in the players, see the way they're flying around making plays, I love it. It's exactly what you wanted, and you're starting to see the full vision of why Marcus Freeman was brought in here. He was brought in here for those big plays behind the line of scrimmage and all those havoc turnovers. That's the staple of the Freeman defense. We're starting to see it, and I'm starting to love it. We're going to need more of it because the offense is hurting. So, defense, keep it up. 13 points the last 2 weeks. Fantastic job. Build on that comfort and momentum. Excellent effort by the defense. Okay. We had to get to it, but I waited. There was so much good that I wanted to cover that first. Be a little always Irish, glass half full. Okay? I tried. Let's talk about the offense. This is where things get really interesting / and or very concerning. Regarding the quarterbacks, I have seen good play out of all 3 of the guys we've seen play. When Cone has time, I love what I see. When Buckner's running the ball with his energy and opening things up, I love what I see. Pine looked really poised back there, not overwhelmed, calm. He was throwing some lasers. He throws a really tight, good ball. Seemed to be comfortable back there. I've seen things I like from all three of these guys, and I'm not sure what you do moving forward. How do you process this? Because it's not a pure quarterback debate. That's why I'm having trouble analyzing who should play and how much and how to do this, assuming they're all healthy, because we're not just looking at the quarterback with everything else equal. The decisions have to be made as far as what quarterback is going to help mask and minimize the offensive line issues the most. That's almost the framework this has to be looked at, because the line's so bad, so awful, that's almost how you have to look at it. It isn't which one of these guys is the pure best quarterback, but we're in a position where I'm looking at it as who is going to cover up how bad this line is the most with what they can do. 6 sacks, 12 tackles for a loss. Depending on how you calculate the running, it's either 3 yards on the ground or 9 yards on the ground. It's a disgrace. I'm sorry. I am not trying to be mean to these kids, but they're terrible at blocking. They're just terrible. I'm sorry. I don't mean to hammer these young guys trying, but they're not good. So, what is it? Lack of development? Overranking them as recruits? It all can't be experience. I'm not buying it when people say you need to back off on the O-line. They just don't have experience. If you're a 4-star guy nationally recruited, how can you not be better than this? If this is what 4 stars look like, God in heaven, what does a 3-star look like? A trash barrel? I don't get it. I don't get it. Okay? But 3 yards or 9 yards, what, 0.3 per carry? Whichever one you want to go with. 6 sacks, 12 tackles for loss. It's really, really bad football. It's bad football. Passing 239 yards, 6.5 per attempt. 2 touchdown catches by Austin. Fantastic. The one throw by Pine in that window over the middle, that crossing route, gorgeous. I have been begging for those medium crossers my whole life from Notre Dame. I'm glad we got one. Great catch and run by Austin. The other one, I'm praying my rosary, thanking God they didn't call it incomplete. I could see that going the other way. I'm glad it didn't. So, great job there by Austin, becoming the big-time receiver we all need him to be. But this line is unbelievably horrific. And I know people don't like me hammering the O-line U thing. I'm sorry, but it's unacceptably atrocious. How is there no other arrangement or other guys you could put in? Here's one thing. Kane Madden is terrible, and there's a reason he was playing at a lower level division school. He cannot block anybody at all. I'm sorry. It's time for somebody with a future to get in there and block nobody at all, because at least they're developing. That's the point we're at here, okay? This guy got brought in last year, all that stuff. He's not good at his job. Time to let a younger guy. If it's not going to be good enough, let it not be good enough by somebody who's going to be here a couple more years. At least they can develop, not be any good, and then they're gone. Maybe if you put another guy in, they'll be no good, but develop into being maybe less no good next year. Bad. Tosh, I understand he's been thrown into this role and isn't ready to play, but he's terrible. It's a turnstile out there. How is it this bad? How did we get to a point where it's objectively terrible? There's no other way to put it. They're awful. And any success this offense is going to have all year, it has to be around them and in spite of them. This is by far the worst part of the team for a program where this is supposed to be a strength every year. I'm never going to just accept that. So we just need to accept any success the offense has, it has to be in spite of working around this deficit, because it's really bad and it ain't going to get a hell of a lot better, I'm afraid. Okay? Here's my issue. Aside from that, it is clear to everybody we cannot power run the football at all. At all. Doing so on early downs, all that does is guarantee you're in third and long. Okay? We cannot run the football effectively, consistently, or reliably at all. At all! The best rhythm we had all year on offense was the second drive of this game. Think back. How did that drive look? We went with a little bit of tempo. Nothing crazy. Just a little bit. Spread Wisconsin out. 6 passes in a row. We marched down the field right into the red zone. Great rhythm. Great timing. Everything was going and flowing. We get into the red zone. And for reasons that make no sense, we decided to start running the ball into a wall. Went nowhere, kicked a field goal and missed it. I don't understand. Explain this to me. Why would you change what was clearly working when you got down to the red zone? It makes no sense. We shredded them, had them off balance, back on their heels. 6 passes in a row, spreading them out, finding the open guy, getting rid of the ball quick because our offensive line is a turnstile at a Chicago CTA train stop. But what logic is it that you would do that, have success, get in the red zone, then decide you're going to power run the ball again? It makes no sense. I couldn't believe they did that. We took ourselves out of the best rhythm we've had all year for no reason. For no reason. Listen, we all want to be able to run the ball. This is who Notre Dame wants to be and is at a genetic level. But guess what? It ain't happening this year. It is not happening because the line is terrible. Objectively, by the numbers, terrible. So guess what? We all want to run the ball. I want to run the ball. It ain't going to happen. So you're now in a position where you got to pick. Do you want to run what you want to run just because you want to run it? Or do you want to do what you got to do to win this damn game? Those are the decisions we're going to have. We all want to run past balance and this and that. We can't run. We can't run. The line doesn't do its job. They're bad at football. They're bad at football. So you got to make a damn decision. Do you want to stick to your guns and run because it's in your DNA? Or do you want to win the game? I'm opting to do what it takes to win the game. You got to do what you got to do to mitigate and win in spite of this weakness that is supposed to be your alleged strength. Spread it out, up tempo, get the ball out on slants, crossers, screens, pick plays, whatever. Pick rare spots to sneak in your runs when the numbers warrant it. But we cannot be a run-heavy, run-focused team and win games. We could still be a run-heavy team. You're going to lose 4 games, though. So decide. Do you want to run the ball for the sake of saying you ran the ball? Or do you want to run an offense that puts points on the board so you can keep winning? Those are your options. Spread it out, up tempo, get the ball out quick. Let these athletes make plays. Accept you suck at run blocking and focus on winning over running and winning over the offense looking the way you planned it out. Because it's just not possible. It's not possible. And your job as a staff, aside from figuring out why the offensive line's terrible, is do what you got to do to win the next game. Running the ball on early downs ain't it. Don't even bother. It ain't it. They can't block. They can't block anything or anybody. The best rhythm we had, spread it out, get the ball out fast, let guys do what they're going to do. Okay? We took ourselves out of rhythm on this drive I referenced, and I hated it. We were passing the ball right down the field. Get in the red zone and run it into a wall. Kill our own momentum. Now, it's like, I get it. You're going to say, John, we ran for 0.0 yards per carry, but we also gave up 6 sacks in the pass game. I know this is a bad place to be operating from. I just noticed the most rhythm we're ever going to have is in that spread them out, distribute, let your athletes make plays. Lining up and playing smash mouth is not Notre Dame's game this year. The sooner everybody recognizes it, the better. And I need you to recognize it before there's a loss on the ledger. Your job as an offensive staff isn't to be balanced. It's to do what it takes to win. And running it ain't it this year. It's just not. Now, we got 2/3 of this team playing winning high-level football. You got to mask and get by with that third phase however possible. I just feel terrible. Like, I feel bad for Kyron and for Tyree, the tight ends, the receivers, all the skill guys. I feel bad for them because they're not able to play to their potential because the line's bad. I feel horrible for all those people, but it's just the reality. Kyron, 33 yards along a 7. Tyree, 6 yards along a 5. It's brutal. Both of those guys are capable of so much more. It's just not possible due to the line. So, while you're undefeated in the top 10, you got to adapt. do what is working to whatever extent it's working to the maximum you can. But this power run stuff, it ain't going to cut it this year. So you better figure out another plan, a workaround, while the ledger still has a 0 in the loss column. Okay? This offense is just going to be a struggling work in progress every single week because the line is objectively, horrifically bad at football. And so wrapping up the offense, I honestly, with these quarterbacks, I'm not sure what to do because the evaluation of the quarterbacks cannot be a pure one because it's tainted by this offensive line problem. So I don't know if you need to rotate, run, Buckner, I don't know. But I don't like being in this position. But this is not a traditional evaluation of quarterback because these offensive line issues are so exaggeratedly bad. I don't know what you do. But it's a bad problem. On to Cincinnati. The end of this game, that fourth quarter, what a great, terrific momentum builder heading into this huge top 10 matchup. Again, I don't understand. Cincinnati's played 2 nobody teams in Indiana, and they're ranked 7th, and it's like they're the Patriots at the height of their powers. I don't understand that. But confidence should be on the rise for Notre Dame. Energy should be good. Confidence is a huge deal in sports, and especially in college football. Carry over that emotion and confidence into Cincinnati. It is hard for me not to think, no matter how good or not I think Cincinnati is, I think they're probably the best team left on the schedule based on what the other teams have been doing. North Carolina taking a step back. USC, garbage. Not scared of Virginia Tech, even on the road. So this could be your last big, really good team you play, quite frankly. Okay? And Cincinnati's going to be ready. They are going to be ready. Coming off a bye. All Notre Dame for a half a month. They got the small conference syndrome. Brian Kelly, too good to stay. Marcus Freeman, too good to stay. Ohio State didn't want us. Notre Dame didn't either. All of those factors come into play with this Cincinnati game. They will be fired up and ready to play. You have to match that energy. One thing is, I love that this game's at home. The fans, the first few weeks, and myself included, okay, we're winning, but there's a little hesitation. I think the energy from this Wisconsin game will carry over into this Cincinnati game, and I'm excited about it. The energy should be rock solid for this game. Notre Dame is in a strong position to make more out of this year than a lot of people thought if they can get by this game. Okay, so exciting win against Wisconsin. Surprising way we did it. 31 points in the fourth quarter. Kick return touchdown we never see. Okay. I think that's the first kick return for a touchdown on Wisconsin in 122 ball games. Okay. So a lot of good stuff. We need to hope any improvement from the offensive line would help a lot. Any improvement just from absolutely terrible to mostly terrible at this point would be an improvement. Do your job and help the rest of the facets of this team that are playing winning football. We will come back in a couple days for a full Cincinnati breakdown. But for now, there is nothing wrong with enjoying this win on the big stage. Good job. Congratulations. See you in a couple days for the Cincinnati preview.